Welcome back to Talkin Shop with ShopSabre. I'm Brandon, back with the gang. Chad, Travis, Kyle. How you guys doing?
Doing great. How about you?
Good.
I'm doing good.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Kyle, how you doing?
Good. I'm good.
It's kind of hectic this time of year, isn't it, guys?
Getting that halfway point through December.
Oh, my God. It's crazy. Things
Mine's
are
spinning.
crazy. I love it.
Best time of year.
It is. We say it every time that we talk about December. It's the best time of year because it's the best time of year.
Absolutely.
You got end of year rush.
Things are moving.
Things are moving. It's got the holidays. Obviously, I have kids, so I enjoy that side of it because it's like magic. There's nothing better than magic in a kid's eyes. I'm going to tell you that much right now. Like, viewing magic through a kid is the greatest thing ever. The spirit of Santa Claus, love it.
Oh, yeah.
You know? Santa Claus is awesome.
I'll have to take your word for that.
It's awesome. It's the greatest time of year. I can honestly say that. Elf on the Shelf. I got this little elf that runs around my house like crazy. Crazy. I don't know how he gets moved from place to place, but that elf, he gets into some stuff. But, yeah, so it's an awesome time of year.
Yeah.
Vikings tanking for Teddy, I think, is what is it?
That was a bad beat.
It was a bad beat. It hurt. It didn't feel good.
Well, I made the fantasy playoffs, so
You did.
so that's all that matters.
Chad comes in on the worst scenario. Like, you know how they say percentages in sports, Kyle?
Yeah.
You know how they're like, hey, this company or this team statistically has a 33% chance of making the playoffs, you know? Mm-hmm. That usually means they're not making the playoffs, right?
Right.
Not if you're Chad. Takes the 33% odd and runs the table, pulls himself into the playoffs at the end.
Absolutely.
Clutch.
The hand claps.
I was trying to find the button. I'm sorry. I don't have it ready. I didn't have it queued up because I was so excited. I'm just going to give you this one. That's right. That's all I had.
Meanwhile, I'm over here. Yay, sports.
Yeah, sorry. We just had to talk about it because Chad did. He took all odds and said they don't matter.
It was my whole Sunday afternoon figuring out everybody's points, the matchups, what's going to happen if who wins where. And
He sent me a text message at 10:45 on Sunday night. He's like, I think I'm in the playoffs. Mind you, I had taken the worst loss of my season on Sunday. I was just trying to forget that we were in fantasy football. So that was really nice of Chad.
now for the championship.
Now you're going to the ship. But yeah, anyways, that was a little fun talking about some fantasy sports there, but I know nobody wants to tune in and listen to us talk about fantasy. Maybe they do. We don't know. Stay tuned. But you can't be on the live tour right now because it's snowing.
I'm more worried about coaching, you know,
He's going to be a coach now.
like a mentor.
No.
Oh, my God.
I don't think Chase and Chubb wouldn't know what to do if I didn't help them out.
Jason Chubb. Oh, man. Yeah, you're right. Your running back and your receiver really would be lost without you, Chad. Oh, my God. That's pretty good. Travis, I know you built a RC car this weekend.
I did. Yep. Had to put a new transmission in. The 6-year-old likes to tear that thing apart. So now that I'm $500 into a car, probably that I could have bought for brand new around $500, but
Welcome to automotive racing.
That was the cost of my very first car when I was 16. It was $500.
I think that was the cost of the car that you crashed in our parking lot.
For my first few cars were $500 cars.
the Honda.
How dare you? That's an 86 Honda.
Numbers matching.
No, the numbers matching Honda. Oh, man. That was good. That was a good time when you showed up with that thing. What about you, Kyle? Anything fun this weekend?
Geez.
Jeez.
I don't think so. Nothing on the docket, you know.
You sounded really Minnesotan there. Jeez.
It's funny because I'm from Wisconsin.
I know,
I've
that's
been
the best
here like
part.
6 months.
You've
It's
only
rubbing
been here.
off on me.
You're already learning to talk like us.
Yeah.
This is nice.
Yeah, sure, you betcha.
Sure. You bet you don't know. Yeah, so I know last week we talked a little bit about pricing and structure in our businesses, right? And in people's businesses. And I thought this week let's build on that and let's talk a little bit about the importance of research and education. Right?
Yeah.
Sounds like a good time.
Good topic.
Good topic. But no, I want to jump on this topic, honestly, because like the last 30 days, obviously it's been busy for us. We've been picking up, and I'm sure other businesses out there are starting to see the same thing with the year end. But I'm starting to notice a trend in sales. And one of the biggest things is that I'm noticing people are willing to rush through their decision as of late and not really fact check or consider the scope of their decision. Like we talked about, like, again, some of the stuff before setting the pricing and, having a plan and looking into the future, all that stuff. But like this to me it's a bigger thing. I've noticed that people are like, well, they said it's the best, we're good. Like they just take the word, and it's like, it actually is deflating for me as a sales guy, because like, I want to tell you like what makes us the best. Like I want to prove to you that I'm not just saying the word, we're the best. Okie dokie. Like, no, I want to tell you, and so for me, it's deflating because I understand what I'm talking about, right? I understand my trade. I've taken the time to become really, really educated in what we do and understand the science behind it and why we do things and why we don't do things. And when somebody just doesn't even take the time to listen to you, like it's really kind of frustrating. It's demoralizing a little bit because you're like you could just go buy something online then because you don't really care to learn what you're talking about. And the reality is the mistakes they're making before they've made them, and you can't even explain those mistakes to them. Right. Like, because they just don't care. And, I feel like people are just not taking the time lately to do their research. Like, either they don't have the time to do the research or they just don't care to educate themselves anymore. Like, they don't even care to understand the decision they're making. Hey, we'll figure it out later. Right?
Pretty much.
So, I kind of talked a little bit about my thoughts on this topic a little bit, but I guess, what do you guys think about, or what comes to mind for you guys, when you start thinking about, obviously, the audience right now and the importance of research and education? I guess, what are you seeing right now? What are you feeling? What are you hearing out there?
I think everybody, when they're buying something, needs to ask questions, especially if there's a salesperson involved. It's when you're talking about the dollar amount of a CNC machine versus buying something off of Amazon, your investment's a lot larger, so you should be asking a lot more questions.
Yeah, it's not one size fits all in your decision making, right?
Yeah, and you can't just return it or, get something different next time. It's a large chunk of money.
A little different than buying a garden hose.
Exactly.
You buy the garden hose, you're like, yeah, that one looks green. It's cool. I'll take that one. That one's blue. I'll buy that one. And then you're like, oh, that hose sucked. I'll go buy another one. Like you said, it's a lot easier decision to make. But like with these, larger purchases, as an example, cabinet makers, right? You go put cabinets in your house. You're not going to just, well, I bought the wrong cabinets, I'm going to go buy new ones. Like, it's a pretty big investment, right?
Yeah, and you want to do it right the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say that customers right now, I'll talk to them right off the bat, and they're going to say, hey, you know what, I'm already pretty much set on buying this, machine, and I'll just go through, well, what are you purchasing? They can't even explain really what they're buying. Oh, it's a CNC machine. Well, does it have ATC or manual change? Yeah, it's got a spindle. Does it have vacuum or no vacuum? What kind of vacuum? Yeah, it's got a vacuum. And then the next guy will say, well, I'm looking at, doing fourth axis work. Like, sir, you don't even have a fourth axis on here. So, for me, it's educating the customer, making sure they understand exactly what I need to sell them to do exactly that. But again, it's kind of an uphill battle because they think they're getting everything at the cost they're looking at from the competitor. But once we educate them, obviously we get them on board and they know what they're purchasing. But luckily we can save them from making that purchase twice.
I think that was really well said, because you run into situations where it's very deceiving out there sometimes, right? You see the price tag that you think you're paying, right? And you don't always realize that, like, you're not getting everything you thought. And if you don't take the time to educate yourself and learn, like, you can get taken advantage of really, really fast, especially in today's world. Like, especially the sales, the year-end stuff. Like, even you go to the store, like, it's so easy to get roped into buying something and then find out, like, even, it's weird. Like, toys now. You buy toys. Like, I'm buying a toy for my kid. And they even have things that, like, it looked really cool, but there's a subscription that you have to buy. And there's stuff that comes along with these toys that you're like, dang, like, it's not a $30 toy anymore. It's a $30 toy plus a $5 a month subscription for them to use this. Like, that toy gets expensive, And again, there's different things that you invest your time and money into that you have to think about. I mean, we looked at a quote this morning. I was looking at a quote with a customer of ours. They were looking at buying a ShopSabre or somebody else's machine, like, just being transparent. They were looking at two different products. And so they took the time, they called me up and said, hey, would you be willing to do a Zoom meeting? We can go through this together. I'm like, absolutely. Like, I love doing that. So we went through it together. And by the time we were done, I mean, they've ordered the machine now, but they were very, very happy they did that, because they thought they were getting so much more from the other person than they were. Like, they were still, really impressed with what we were offering, but they thought like we were really head-to-head, apples for apples. And by the time we got through the quote and I showed all the things that we had quoted they had not included, and then the thing that really got them was, like, they're like, we talked about support, and they're like, yeah, they both come with support, and I'm sure, like, they both have their differences. But I read through their support. They had 1 year of support. That was it.
Wow.
So I'm like, yeah, it came with support, right? They're not lying to you, but it's 1 year. Like, I gave you lifetime support. Like, that's a very different, very different setup there for dollars difference. Like we're very similar in cost. So it's like really the value was much different when you started breaking it down. But to a person that wasn't, if that person wouldn't have been willing to get on the phone with me and go through that, or Zoom, excuse me, in this case, if they wouldn't have been willing to do that, how easily could they have missed that stuff, And for me, like, I personally am noticing that, as the world goes, or consumer, if you will, whatever you want to call it, they're running down a path that we've been down before. Like, I've been in this industry long enough. I would say I probably have more industry experience than anybody else here. Is that probably fair to say, guys?
Yep, fair to say.
Right? So I've done this a long time, and it's kind of the circle of life. The economy was good, so people wanted to spend a little bit more time getting the best value and the best products, and USA Made was so important to them, and support and all the stuff that goes along with it, right? Then the economy has kind of turned, right? I mean, it's different than it was a year ago at this time. And obviously supply chain issues hit and inflation hit and all this stuff. And now suddenly people are looking for cheap, right?
Right.
Yep.
They want cheap, cheap, cheap. I mean, that's what they're looking for. And some of them don't even ask where it's made. Like they don't even ask us where it's made. And it's frustrating because I'm like, I spend a lot of time mailing them here in the US and doing things differently than just going overseas and buying something. And it's something I want to brag about. I like being able to talk about the fact that they're American made, but some people don't even ask what support comes with it. Like they don't ask what technology or quality you're using or what, if you aren't asking those questions, how are you really doing research? What are you looking at?
Right.
Like yours is blue and theirs is not. Like that doesn't really help you. So as you kind of go through it, I think that there's so much that we have to like slow down right now and look at because, they're more willing to believe the marketing stuff right now, and online that's not a good thing, right? I mean, people use marketing to their advantage, and they're not gonna. Hey, well, we're the third best machine on the market. Like nobody's gonna say that. Everybody's the best machine, right? Everybody's the best machine. I've gone up against some machines that shouldn't even be in the conversation, but because their sales guy said it's the best machine, somebody's willing to consider it the best machine.
Yep.
And it's like there is nothing about this machine that says best,
Right?
And then you look at a ShopSabre, and you're like, night and day difference, right? And then by the time you break it down with these people, they're like, oh wow. Oh, wow, that's a major difference. I didn't even realize it. And then it makes you think, that person gave me a chance. How many people never gave me a chance?
Right.
Like, the easiest way to do it is go to our website, right? Go to our website. We have a lot of information out there. There's a lot of things that you can go through. ShopSabre.com. I forgot that button last week, so I made sure I hit that button this week. Didn't want Chad to give me crap. But no, I mean, like I said, people are willing to believe more marketing nowadays. They don't call a single person. They don't ask a professional in the industry. They don't try to dig in to make a decision.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think we're seeing it a lot with like the vacuum pumps on machines matching, they use regenerative blower horsepowers as the same horsepower as a Becker pump. So if a customer doesn't look deeper into it, they just assume, an 8.9 horsepower vacuum pump's an 8.9 horsepower vacuum pump, but they're completely different.
Yeah. I mean, I'm glad you say that because it's something worth considering. The best way for me to break that down is related to the car industry, right? You could say I'm buying a pickup truck, and you can get a pickup truck. But there's a very big difference between buying a F-350 pickup truck and an S10 pickup truck, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
they're,
exactly.
they're both pickups. But if you just look at the one word, right, you're going to find out really quickly that you can get yourself in over your head real fast. And that's exactly it. As you said, tool changers, vacuum. There's so many things that people play on that buzzword, right? Mm-hmm. You don't think the other company knows what they're up against. They've done their research. The reason they said 8.9 horsepower vacuum is because they know that's a trigger word that you're going to see. So when you look at our quote or a competitor's quote and you look at their quote, you just see the same thing. There's a reason why they don't explain certain things on their quotes and they don't provide you as much information. It's because they don't want you to educate yourself. They're hoping that you fall for the marketing, right? Because think about it. Later on, when the machine doesn't work, right, and it's not cutting or something's not working, who do they have to blame? You. I told you. It says 8.9. It's an 8.9. I didn't tell you it was going to do what that pump did. I just said it's an 8.9 vacuum pump. Like, you didn't ask me what it was, and they can rely on you, right? You didn't do your job. It's a shady way of doing things. And I think when you look at some of the more reputable companies out there, we divulge a lot more information, right? We tell you what pump it is. We tell you the brand. We tell you specifically what you're getting for horsepower, what you're specifically getting for CFM. You know, like you can see those numbers. You can do the scientific calculations. And I just feel like in today's world, like there's so many people willing to hide and mask that information.
Well, and a lot of times too, on the vacuum pump topic, people don't even understand the difference in the noise between what we quote them and what the other people quote them. So this guy goes, oh, okay, so what the Becker's better in what ways? So you explain it. Not only is it going to give you a lot better HG, so your parts are going to hold a lot better, but you can actually place this thing next to the machine and you're not going to have hearing protection. Once I tell them, you know, that pump that you're looking at is a regenerative blower, it's going to sound like a jet engine running in there. That makes a huge difference to them. So now all of a sudden it's worth spending the extra money on not only the better technology, but also it's going to be safer for their employees.
Well, there's so many other things that go. I mean, like I said, we could literally talk the whole time about vacuum pumps alone, right? But it's those little things that you can miss that the sales guy's not purposely telling you it, right? He doesn't care. There's no reason for him to care about it. It's not his problem. You asked for a vacuum pump on your machine, and he gave you a vacuum pump. He doesn't care if that machine runs right or not later on. Like you asked him for a specific setup. You didn't tell him that you needed to have a specific pressure rating or, you know. So he's relying on you to tell him what you need. Well, if you don't know what you need, that's kind of a bad way to get into business, right? That sales guy's just trying to make a sale. You're just trying to buy a product. And in the end, neither one of you are going to end up in a good spot because you're going to end up with a machine that doesn't do what you want it to do.
Yep.
And that's why, like, even for us, that's why I pay us so, you guys so differently here. Like, I don't want you to get so focused on just sell a machine, you know? I want you to get focused on sell the right machine, right? You don't care if it's a 23 or if it's an ISM. Like, it's the same amount of money going in your pocket at the end of the day, right?
Yep.
You guys don't change you're not getting commission. You're not doing, it's, ShopSabre is more about the customer at the end. And like, you know, a lot of people in their businesses, you're looking at your business right now and thinking about it, like, how are you making it so your customers do research and education on your product, right? What are you doing so that they understand what they're getting? Are you misleading people or are you showing them the advantages? I would be willing to bet that a majority of people want people to buy their product because it's better, right? It's not. Sometimes there's an old adage that it's, you know, not quantity, it's quality, right? That's really what it's about here. So let's talk about the rush mentality for a minute, right? You know, it seems like, as I said, more people are rushing around to make their decisions just to get it done, but it's almost like they don't want to know the truth, right? They don't know the truth already, but they don't want to know it either. They're not, like, they live in this bubble, right? It's a bubble, you know, it's the rainbows and unicorns and all the things that are lovely in the world. Like, it's a perfect world. The reality is nobody's bad, right? Nothing bad can happen. That's great if that's the world you could really live in. But unfortunately, some businesses see this and they take advantage of those people. They take advantage of the consumer. I mean, that's why scams exist. That's why a lot of this stuff is just, it's built to get the impulse buyer. There's a lot of companies built around impulse purchases. And, you know, it's very popular with the Chinese market and the import market to do this to people. Those markets advertise things like low price. I mean, that's what they're looking at, the guy trying to make a quick decision, right? It's low price, in stock now. Those buzzwords are things they know that gets an impulse buyer. It's in stock today. It's low price today, right? Lowest price on the market. Well, what does that tell you? What do you hear, Chad, when somebody says low price, you know, lowest price in the market?
It's not the best machine on the market.
It's definitely not the best piece, you know, it's the best piece of equipment that you can get into, right? It's definitely missing something is what I hear.
For sure.
Right? Low prices don't happen for best products, right?
Correct.
Like, it's usually, you can have a low price on a product, right? It's our lowest price of the year. Okay, that's legit. But does that mean I'm the lowest price on the market?
No.
No. I mean, they're going to find cheaper products if you look hard enough. But I'm trying to tell you that this is our lowest price, right? That's a very different statement than low price in stock now, right? You know, you're never going to see those companies advertising things like made in the USA, lifetime best support, right? Best technology. They don't say those things because those things make you ask questions.
Yep.
Right? Those have open-ended statements, right? If I tell you the best technology, what comes to mind? What are you, as a consumer, what are you gonna ask next, Travis?
Why are you the best technology?
Exactly. You want to know what technology is the best, what makes it the best, right? Now you want to ask follow-up questions. Well, I don't want you to ask me questions. If you ask me questions, then I can't just sell a bunch of machines, right?
Yeah.
Those companies are trying to get it so it's in stock now, low price. Okay, that makes sense. I'm going to order. Click, 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 done, right? They get your credit card before you've even had a chance to remember that you didn't want to do that. It literally goes into your pocket and grabs your credit card. It fills it out for you. But the questions that we use, the things we use for marketing is always like USA made, lifetime best support, best technology. Because you're going to say, USA made, like, where do you guys make that? Lakeville, Minnesota. And then I can talk about it, right? Mm-hmm. Or what part of the machine's made in the U.S.? I make the entire frame. I make the entire gantry. I make the control box. Like, I do it here in the U.S. Like, I can brag about that. Lifetime best support. What makes your support so great? Now I can talk about it. So a lot of these companies that are playing on the consumer making a quick purchase, they don't want you looking at where it's made. They don't want you asking about the support aspect because they're not going to be proud to tell you their support's questionable at best, right? They don't want to say that. They don't want you digging into the technology. Yeah, it's not the best technology out there. It's an aluminum frame instead of a steel frame like some of the bigger machines, or it's a stepper motor machine instead of a servo motor machine. Like these big heavy duty machines exist for a reason, right? They're hoping you're blinded by the price tag or the excitement that, they're hoping that you're more excited about making a purchase, right? Mm-hmm. The reality is there's stuff on the shelf if they're telling you it's in stock now, right?
Especially this time of the year.
That means they're more excited by the fact that they haven't sold something in a few weeks and they're just trying to get you, right? Your guys' opinion on that?
Oh yeah, I agree.
Yeah. What are you hearing right now? What are you seeing on the market right now, guys, with regards to people in the quick decisions? And are you seeing people ask questions right now?
If you get it out of them,
Yeah.
I mean, you got to be, proactive in asking questions to get it. But I think a lot of people are getting blinded by price tags right now.
I think that's just the economy, right? I mean, we're all paying more money every day, right? Mm-hmm. Gas prices are up. There's so many things that have gone up that it just forces us to, like, when you think you found a cheap solution, like, everybody looks at it, right? I mean, I'm no different. I've looked at things, right? I look, oh, hey, that's an interesting price. Wait a second. Let me look into that. And then you start to see, I almost bought a little four-wheeler for my kid. Got me on a low price. That's what got me to, like, I literally almost typed my credit card number in. And then I was like, you're smarter than this. And I started looking into it and looked at the reviews, and I'm like, they were just not very good reviews, the ones that I could find. There wasn't a lot of reviews about them, to be honest with you. They were a newer company. So I started asking questions. I emailed the company, and I was like, where's the motor made? Where's the frame made? What is it? And the answers I got were really generic. Oh, it's a quality motor. It's a quality motor. We do get them out of China, but it's a quality motor. I didn't ask that. I asked, where is it made? So, okay. It's out of China. Okay, what's the horsepower? What's the CC rating on it? And then they didn't have a lot of information, right? They started, like, backpedaling a little bit. But, it's really high quality. It's similar. Then you know what they said to me? It's similar to the Polaris. I didn't ask about what it was similar to. I was asking what you were doing. It's like they're trying to piggyback off of Polaris' reputation to sell this thing. And I'm like, that immediately was a red flag to me. Like, okay, this is exactly what they're trying to get the consumer on the easy sale. And I kept asking questions, and eventually, you know what they did?
Stop talking to me.
They stopped talking to me. Exactly. They stopped responding. And I'm like, I dodged a bullet on that. I'm glad I didn't buy that thing, because literally as soon as it started getting difficult for them, we'll move on to the next guy. Mm-hmm. They didn't care about my story, So, let's talk a little bit about some examples of research and education. Travis and Chad, both you guys are in sales, obviously. Well, questionable. I'm going to say that. No, I'm just kidding. But you both have a lot of experience with what I'm referring to, and in fact, both of you have done some meetings in the last 30 days that have included me with your clients, where we had to slow a customer down and take a look at a big picture, right? We showed them. They had no idea some of the little things they were missing, correct?
Yep,
For sure.
So let's hear, people need to hear this stuff. Like, let some of your guys' opinion, or one of your, if you can, share a story. Let's talk a little bit about some of the stuff that you have stumbled upon in recent weeks.
We had the camera system.
Yeah.
big discrepancy in price in a camera system, but after going through the details and finding out more about it, they were just using a kind of a random optical lens, not even something that was really built for that application.
That one actually, I was hoping you were going to talk about that one. I'll be honest, if you didn't talk about that one, I was going to bring it up. But that one was actually really intriguing because initially, right, the customer emailed us and they were like, hey, we found this system. It's $2,500 compared to your guys' system at X amount of money. And me and you were like, how? Like instantly, me and you were like, there's no way. Like the camera that we buy alone is more than that cost. How is the whole system that much, you know? And so we started digging into it and we asked them, can we do a comparison? Can we go there? And they're like, yeah, well, we'd love to talk. And like, we were fortunate enough they were willing to talk with us, right?
Absolutely.
We pulled it up. We actually started looking at it. We found a picture of it. And it was literally like a Nikon lens. It was like a camera lens. Like it wasn't a CNC lens. It was like literally off of like a lens my wife uses on her camera. And me and you both were just like, wow. Like did it not catch us both by,
Oh,
like,
yeah,
it's
absolutely.
speechless. And so we showed it to the customer. We did a Zoom meeting with them and we showed it to them and they went speechless. Like they had no response for it because it was like they didn't even realize how kind of hokey it was, to be honest with you, until they saw it. And then it's like, yeah, the price tag sounded really good until you saw what you were getting. And I think that really opened their eyes, but it was like something there that they weren't lying when they said they got a camera system on the machine. Like they do. But I mean, it's like legitimately Nikon camera system. Like it's not CNC like optical registration system. It's been adapted to it. But yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting. You know, I it's the little things again that if you don't do your research and education, you end up with a machine that's very, very different.
Mm-hmm.
I would say recently I worked with a customer that was buying a knife machine and with a knife capability.
Okay.
Obviously, we were a little difference in cost, so I was like, let's take a look at this deeper. Come to find out, they were only selling them a drag knife, something that you could buy for very, very cheap online and put it
Like
in
one
a
of those
collar.
$200 drag knives.
Exactly. And see, we're sitting here, we're selling them an oscillating tangential knife. And
So it's got the motor, it's got the whole thing. And
so the customer was just told, yeah, it's going to do the exact same thing. When they find out, obviously, once we talked about the technology, it's not even close to what they're doing. I said, I can get you one of those too if you'd like, but
Yeah.
that's not going to do what you need it to. So just because they said it's got a knife on it doesn't mean it's actually the knife system you require.
But they didn't lie to you.
Exactly.
It had a knife, right?
Customer fell right for it.
And that's the problem right there, is that's the world that we're kind of in right now, is a lot of these companies are playing off of that. And it's so important right now to do research. Like the importance of research, you know, there's a fair amount of sales guys out there that are not wanting to spend the time on the phone with you. Like they don't want to spend their time talking about your needs. They want to sell you a cookie cutter machine or a cookie cutter product and move on. Like you guys have probably experienced it in your lives, like, you know, cabinetry or signs or, you know, wherever you're at. Like you probably know it. If you're listening to me and you have your own business, I'm sure some of your competitors are those people. Like they just want to sell the box store stuff, the easy stuff, and they don't want to actually help the customer fill their need, right? They want to sell the same thing over and over and over and mass produce. And let's be honest, like there's some advantages to mass production, right? I mean, you can make money doing that. But that's making money. That's not solving people's needs as much as it's just you're mass producing something and making money, right? At the end of the day, like cookie cutter solutions don't fit everybody, right? They cannot offer you specific features that you might need or options that others can. So they're hoping that you just look right past those things, right? They sell it one way, they buy it one way. This is how they do it. We're hoping you never ask us the question, right? Like those people generally, those sales guys are looking for the easy sales. And those are the people that are the four-wheeler guy, right? As soon as you ask the difficult question, doesn't respond to you, doesn't want to help you. And, you know, as an example, you know, when you look at things like auto tool changer or vacuum or even the CNC controller, right? Most machines are going to have a variation of those items on there, right? Every let's say cabinet machine, right, is going to typically have tool changer, vacuum, and a CNC controller, right?
Correct.
Yep.
But they're not the same. You know, one, you know, how, you know, you look at it, here's the best way to look at it. When you look at 10 products, right? If 9 of them are very, very similar in price, right? And one of them is significantly cheaper, that lower priced product is probably going to perform less, right?
Absolutely.
And generally speaking, the cheaper product is going to have less information provided.
For sure.
You know, they don't advertise brand names a lot of times in those kind of products. Performance specs aren't as easily accessible. They may not have demonstrations or even videos on their product. You know, there's things that you have to look at that, you know, the reason you do your research is because if someone says that for $30K you can get full cabinet machine. But when you compare it, like I said, the other solutions are 45 to 55,000. How is that possible? Well, the only way it's possible is they've cut corners behind the scenes. They know you're only going to look at the buzzwords like auto tool changer, vacuum, industrial. They'll say these words to try to get you there, but these companies are playing on your ignorance. Like, they want you to fall for the marketing and not educate yourself. They're hoping that they can get every single guy who's not willing to educate himself, because those companies aren't building a relationship long term. They don't care if you come back and buy another machine. They're just going to keep selling it to the next guy buying a $30,000 machine.
Yeah.
They don't have a what are you going to do? Go online and tarnish their reputation? Everybody's going to make fun of you. You bought a Chinese machine.
Right.
Like, what did you expect? Like, everybody's willing to accept that. But they don't have to worry about that, because they're going to sell on low prices. They're not selling on long term. They're just getting people into this product. Now, guys like me love that. It's not good for me today, but I'll tell you what, in 12 months, it's going to be good for me.
Yep.
All those products people are buying for cheap are going to fail. The support's going to show its ugly face. And guess what? They're going to need me. So, no import product is built to be the best. Like, let's just be upfront on that. The reason people buy stuff from overseas and import is for cost savings. Simple as that. It's not for quality. Nobody has ever gone overseas and been like, I'm going to buy it for China because I can get a better quality. Never. Nobody does it. People go to China and overseas because it's cheap. It saves them labor. It saves them time. It's to bring the price down, to drive volume up, right? That's what they're doing. They don't make money on quality. They don't. They do it on volume. It's quantity of sales. Your guys' thoughts on that?
I agree. I think people need to do more research, ask questions, read reviews, talk to people using the equipment if the sales guy doesn't want to tell you.
What if there's no reviews though, Chad?
I would avoid it.
I mean, but seriously, that's the thing, right? Like, I can't find any reviews on it, and they're like, that's an acceptable answer. I'm like, so that's a red flag,
Right.
Like, nobody else has used the product except for you. Like, you're gonna be the first person to ever use it.
When we're seeing a lot more of the imported products now that we're not even familiar with, so we're learning as much as we can about what we can find on the internet, and we're finding not much.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what blows people away the most. Is like, they call us up and they name some brand that we've never heard of, and a lot of times within 15, 20 minutes, we can have a comparison together by just doing some research.
Yep.
And it blows them away. They're like, how did you know? Like, I just did the research you could have done, but this is my job. I'll do it.
Yep.
Like, I take my job serious. Like, when you tell me what you're looking, I'm going to do a comparison. And, the importing product thing is a real thing right now. In today's world, we're seeing that all these importers are coming out of the woodwork right now. Like, it's alarming, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
Like, companies that didn't exist a year ago are now suddenly CNC professionals.
Solving problems before you know you had them.
Yeah. I mean, that's exactly it. There's those statements that people are making. And the reality is we're seeing that. We're seeing guys who had different jobs a year ago. They were professionals in other industries that saw an opportunity to sell something and make profit.
Yep.
It's not because they're solving a need. It's because they brought in some low quality system from China, India, wherever, and they slapped their sticker on it. And they saw it as an opportunity they can make money off of you. Like, what do they know about long-term support? They haven't even been around a year yet. What do they know about technology in 3 to 5 years? Nothing, because they didn't know what the technology was 3 to 5 years ago. Yeah. They couldn't tell you where the CNC machine has evolved from. You literally are their infield R&D department. Like, your business is funding their business to start.
For sure.
Right?
It's crazy.
Like, you think about that. They made minimal investment. They bought a product from overseas, made a few videos, put it on the internet, and now you're buying their product. Like, that is what, like, drive to my facility. I encourage everybody. Like, if you're questioning anything I'm saying, come to my facility and see what we do. I can prove to you that I didn't just buy a product overseas, slap my name on it, and try to start selling it.
For sure.
We've built a 100,000 square foot manufacturing facility that actually employs a lot of people and supports a lot of families here in the United States. Like, they've made middle investments, and you're going to ultimately pay the ultimate investment, right? You're going to be proof of concept for them.
It's scary to think about.
Isn't it? Like,
That company's going to go, well, that model didn't work out very well. Let's try this one.
well, that's exactly what I wonder about. Kyle, you ever bought products like that before that you felt like you've had to be the test dummy for?
I steer clear from any kind of like Amazon product that like has no reviews, but it'll get like thrown to the front page.
Isn't
And
that crazy?
It's ridiculous. Yeah.
Like there is, and I agree with you. Like you go to Amazon's front page and there's a bunch of products on there with no reviews. Like I look right past them.
Absolutely.
Because it's exactly it. It's just new products being thrown in front of you because they think somebody's going to like it, right? It's a hot item. Those hot items usually have high profit. That's why they're on the front page.
Yep.
It's not because they're quality built. The thing that I ran into, I had a guy that we've run into today, which kind of blew me away. We send emails, right, guys?
Yeah, absolutely.
We send a lot of emails. And we usually try to follow up, right? I mean, that's kind of our job. We follow up. We try to find out what you're doing, what you're thinking, how you're feeling. Mm-hmm. And our whole job and our whole goal is to just understand your thoughts. So we send you an email and say, hey, what are your thoughts on this? And it's really hard for us to do our job when people don't give us feedback.
Correct.
And it's even harder for us to do our job when somebody isn't willing to even hear what we think we do really good, right? Yep. So it's something you have to think about in the research side of it is like people get so concerned with learning something that I might find out something I don't believe, right?
Yep.
That they literally will shut people out trying to help them. And it's something that we run into here. Like I was going to say, is I had it today. I had a customer, we emailed them like, hey, would you be, he told us, like, I'll have a decision, in the next couple of weeks here. I'm down to you and another machine. The natural question next was, what machine are we up against so I can do a comparison? I'm not willing to tell you. All right. I think that's idiotic in my honest opinion, because what do you have to lose to let me do a comparison? What do you have to lose? Absolutely nothing. That's just that's a self-confidence thing there. You're worried that you're going to find something out that you don't want to find out. Okay, whatever. But then for me to be like, okay, well, let's at least jump on a call. Let's go through. Let me show you what features and benefits that we offer that set us apart and why you should consider ShopSabre. I think that's a fair question, is it not?
Absolutely.
The response I got back to that email was, you guys are both the same. There's no features and benefits differences.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what? We're not the same company. There's obviously some sort of a difference, right? Like, and I'm one of those guys that I do believe in walking away from a deal. And I just said that. I mean, every time, I said that. That's not true. I said, I'd love to do a comparison, at least go through and explain where our benefits are. We obviously have differences in support, warranty, controllers, blah, blah, blah. And I said, but if you're going to continue to meet me with resistance, like I can't see a way I can earn your business. I have to be allowed to do my job too. Like if what I provide you isn't going to be enough, like if I can't earn your business off of the education that I have and the information I've learned and being the professional in the industry, like you're looking at one thing then, and I know it. You're looking at price tag. I don't win on price tag most times. I know that. At the end of the day, my job is to follow up. You reached out to us, right? Mm-hmm. My job is to follow up on that information and educate you and help you. Otherwise, you would have just gone online and bought a product, right?
Right.
That's what you would have done. So, and if that's what you plan on doing, like, just tell me that. Like, I don't need any information. I'm going to make the decision exclusively on price. Okay, well, I'm not going to win this deal. I know that. Like, I'm not going to be the cheapest product out there. I will send you to Alibaba. You can find the best Chinese machine that you think you can find, and you can import it for a few $1,000s.
Well, at least just being honest about it.
Being honest. Yeah. That would be lovely if people would say that,
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, if that would be honesty, if you said that.
Correct.
I'm not doing it because of.
Correct.
I'm looking at just price. Well, thanks for the honesty.
Yeah.
At least you're not telling me it's something.
Yeah.
That's not true. Obviously.
Yeah. No, I mean that's the truth though. Like you said, sometimes just tell us what you're honestly thinking. Like I don't know where. Again, it goes back to that old school mentality of like, I'm not going to tell a sales guy. Not going to tell him. You're not helping me. You're not hurting me. You're just annoying me now. Like my job is to try to help you. Like try to do what I can to make you better.
Yep.
Like my whole goal is to educate you in some way, shape, or form, right? And if I educate you in a way that you say, I don't care. I want to buy so-and-so's product. At least I can sleep at night knowing I tried, right?
Yep.
I can't change somebody's thought, right? I can't force your beliefs to be the same as mine. I can't get you to align with the way I am. Like, that's fine. But if you request the information for my product, at least hear me out and let me, like, explain to you what I'm presenting and why. And if you don't care, like, that is what it is. But like you said, Chad, just be honest, right? Up front. But I think people need to be more willing to do their research and understand and take the opportunity to get educated on certain things. Like the reality is very few people coming into our industry with as much knowledge as we have. It's kind of what we do all day long, right?
Right.
Like, I think that people get so set in their ways that they know everything. There's some people out there that believe they know everything and that they're the most educated person out there, that they're good at a lot of things, experts at nothing. Right?
Big difference between facts and opinions.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's exactly it. Like, I understand what you think you know about our industry, but like, this is all I do. Like, I don't walk into the cabinetry industry and tell a guy how to rebuild a cabinet. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know how to build a cabinet the way that you might know how to do it, right? I'm not gonna tell you the best construction method for whatever, method that you're doing, face frame, or, if you're doing a European style cabinet or whatever. Like, I'm not gonna tell you how to construct that the best for your business. But I'll tell you what, if you want to know the best drive system to achieve the ultimate accuracy without any backlash, I'm that guy. Like, I can help you there. Like, there's things that I rely on professionals for. Like right now, my check engine light's on my truck. That's super awesome. Check engine light came on.
It's probably your gas cap.
It's not. It's my
Whatever. You probably left your gas cap off.
coolant temp sensor.
My truck doesn't even have a gas cap anymore, just so you're aware.
Neither does mine. My car doesn't.
It's a coolant temp sensor. I've already found the code. But
Should have been a recall.
should have been a recall. I agree. I agree with you. Should have been a recall. But I got to bring it into the dealership because it's not something I'm going to do. Like, I'm not going to go reflash the truck and try to figure it out. I'm going to make sure it gets done right. Right? I'm going to let them do it. And can I do it? Probably. I mean, if I really wanted to spend the time doing it, I could. But I'm not the professional in that. Like, I can work on cars. Obviously, I have race cars. I work on that. But when it comes to computer stuff, like inside of a car, I'm just not going to screw with it. Like, let you deal with it. Like, I'd rather pay the professional. And I'm going to take his advice. I'm going to go to the dealership and I'm going to ask questions, right? Why did this happen? How did it happen? Let me understand it. And then they'll tell me. And then I'll know, okay, I need to do this. Or, hey, there's nothing I could have done. It just went bad, right? I mean, it happens. But I'm going to take the education I can learn from that dealership, right?
Absolutely.
So it's just, I mean, again, it's one of those things where, like, we're real people. People on the phone are just there trying to help you. And if you're willing to give them a chance, I think you'll learn a lot of stuff. And I think especially this time of year, you got to be aware of these companies trying to take advantage of the excitement of the year end and the money being spent. There are a lot of good deals out there. Don't get me wrong. But there's a lot of scammers and deals that will leave companies in a bad position in 1 to 3 years.
Yep.
I think that's what we're going to find is that in 1 to 3 years, the U.S. products are going to come flying back.
For sure.
Because you're going to see the reputation of these import products, you have to give the professionals a call, let your CNC consultants compare products and technology. You will learn something, I guarantee it, right?
Correct.
You may not buy our machine, but you at least are going to be educated enough to see through the crap that some of these sales teams are showcasing. Like, I would think that's 100% true.
Let's not forget about Section 179 for many people.
That's another good one. Section 179 tax deductions right now. That's something you got to think about it.
Yep.
End of the year, you're going to pay taxes. Starting in January, you're going to have to owe your tax bill. If you can spend some of that money before the end of the year and end up with something in your shop rather than a bill to the government, that's worth it, right?
Absolutely.
Don't forget about the financing options. Whether you're starting a business or have an established business, we've got a solution for you.
Yeah. There's basically anyone looking at CNC. We can even do people without a business, can't we?
Absolutely.
So that's huge.
Yep.
Hey, if you don't have a business, doesn't matter. If you need financing, we can finance it. We got a lot of financing options.
Yeah, and check us out on social media. We have a lot of nice customer groups and testimonials on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok.
Tic-Tac.
We love it.
I love Tic-Tac. LinkedIn. We have LinkedIn too.
LinkedIn, yeah.
I think Kyle needs some followers, it sounds like.
On
Need some
LinkedIn.
engagement. Throw some cool projects my way.
I like that. We should start doing contests on there.
Yeah. Giveaways,
We should
contests.
start doing that. Start giving away hats, shirts.
Oh, you just talk about on all social media?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, okay.
Not just LinkedIn.
I thought LinkedIn was for like business
They are.
people, like
A lot
getting
of
jobs.
Yeah, it's like a professional. It's like Facebook, but for professionals.
Oh,
It's not like cat videos.
well, it looks like I'll start a LinkedIn this afternoon.
I didn't realize I was a professional. I got a LinkedIn.
They give
I
them
didn't realize I'm unprofessional.
They give them to everybody. Literally everybody. Sorry, Chad. Sorry to break the news to you. Yeah, it's like where you have business connections, though. It's like, I don't know how to describe it. It's Facebook-ish, but for like your profession.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, it's like
Good way to network.
Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. Thank you. It's networking.
Seems terrible.
It seems terrible. Yeah, it's not terrible. It's actually an okay website. But yeah, like I said, Kyle needs some followers. These guys need to help people buy CNC machines. So if you have any questions on CNC, reach out to us.
Absolutely.
And yeah, we're approaching the end of the year. Only a couple weeks left, so prices will be changing. Dun dun dun. Right? No, I mean it is what it is. We all know 2022 was turbulent. Costs have been on the rise most of the year. Very few products have actually increased their price throughout the year. You know, they may have taken 1 or 2 price increases. I mean, our last price adjustment was March of this year. How much has prices on materials and life changed since March? You know, it's just the nature of the beast. I mean, next year's prices are probably going to be adjusted a little bit for the next year doing business. So, you know, think about that. What you can get right now, the discounts you can get, it's probably not going to look the same come January. So you think about it, do your research, do your education, get an education on this stuff, you know, do whatever you got to do. God, I really struggled there to say education. But yeah, do what you got to do. Like I said, get in touch with us. We'll be there to help out, won't we, guys?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
give us a shot. We'll
Yep.
teach you some things. Make sure that you're spending the money in the right areas.
Rather than the wrong areas. Right, Travis?
Absolutely.
ShopSabre.com.
Go check us out. It'll make Kyle really happy.
Please. I'm begging.
I'm begging, please.
Pleading.
But with all seriousness, we better get back to work. I'm Brandon.
I'm Chad.
I'm Travis.
I'm Kyle.
Thanks for talking shop with ShopSabre.